happening now.
Growing anger and frustration over an embattled archbishop. He has now resigned, and the Pope has accepted that resignation.
Tomorrow marking 1 week since that deadly limousine crash in Schoharie. Flags now at half-staff as funerals are being held for those 20 victims.
And they need to plan a funeral now for this little boy in Syracuse, a 12-year-old killed in a shooting 2 nights ago on the north side. Police are hoping someone comes forward and soon with information that leads to the killer.
From WSYR-TV Syracuse, the local station, you're watching the Morning News.
And a good Friday morning to you. I'm Jennifer Sanders. It is 6:30.
And I'm Dan Cummings. Good to see you again. The news follows the weather. We turn to Kate for what has become autumn all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like we flipped a switch and it was like, nope, falls back, and it is sticking around. So,
well, a 12-year-old boy now the latest homicide victim in the city of Syracuse.
James Springer III, killed Wednesday night on the city's north side. His death is just the latest in a string of violence over these last few months. This is the long list. In the last 30 days alone, 12 children or teenagers were either injured or killed from this type of senseless violence in Syracuse. The 3 most recent incidents resulted in the loss of 3 young lives. In this most recent case, detectives are still working hard, looking for any information that can lead to an arrest. And it's usually up to a witness to courageously come forward and say what they know.
We understand people are scared. The deputy mayor said it. People are scared, and we don't underestimate that. There are anonymous ways to share information. We have a tip line. We have a tip app that you can download on your phone. There are safe, anonymous ways to share this information.
Well, the community's heartbreak still fresh this morning as they honor the life of 12-year-old James Springer III.
News Channel 9's Farah Jadrin is live for us right now at Grant Middle School, where Springer was in the 6th grade. Good morning, Farah.
Good morning, Dan and Jennifer. Well, family and friends a few times have already gathered so they could grieve together. Springer's classmates here at Grant Middle have had to learn from their principal and the district superintendent that one of their own won't be coming back to class. Now, here at Grant Middle School, counselors will remain on site to help students cope and get through this difficult time. Superintendent Jaime Alicea noting the amount of deep sadness in Springer's classroom yesterday morning. Live in Syracuse, Farah Jadrin, News Channel 9.
Thank you, Farah. There was a second vigil planned for young Springer for 9:30 last night, but when our reporters arrived on scene, several police officers were already there responding to a call. One police officer told us something had caused that group of people to scatter. No word yet on what caused the disturbance.
Well, from the police chief to the mayor, who you just heard, calls for cooperation, collaboration, and communication ringing very loud and clear. So sharing information, even the slightest detail on a crime, can be really key. As we heard from Mayor Waltz just a few minutes ago, there are ways that you can submit tips anonymously. This is the SPD Tips app, and we have that up right now. You can download it to your smartphone or your iPad as well. It's up. This is a screen that you'll be directed to. As I scroll down right now, you can see these are the different crimes that Syracuse police are currently investigating. Now, if you want to find out more about those crimes, click right there on the green bar, and you will have an extensive report on exactly what the crime is, where it happened, and what you need to know, and what number that you can call. Now, let's go back. And we'll go to the add tip section as well. And right there, you can add a tip. Scrolling down there, you can see you add the location, the description. And if you go down to this gray box, you can even add a photo or a video. Again, that's the SPD apps right there. And you can download that on your iPhone or your iPad, completely anonymous. You can also opt to receive some of those neighborhood specific or citywide alerts about public safety issues in the area. Remember, for any emergencies, the best thing to do is to call 911. Dan.
Time right now is 6:36. We have 2 pieces of breaking news. First, locally, in the city of Syracuse, nearly 3,000 people are without power. The outages hitting neighbors on the city's north side and west side, stretching into the village of Solvay. Don't know what caused the outages yet. National Grid says the power should be restored for everyone by about 8 o'clock this morning.
And breaking from the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis has accepted the resignation of the embattled Archbishop of Washington, D.C. Questions have been swirling a while over Cardinal Donald Wuerl's involvement in 2 clergy sexual abuse scandals. A recent report accused him of covering up for another high-ranking priest.
Well, family and friends are beginning to say their final goodbyes to the 20 people killed in last Saturday's limousine crash in Schoharie. Calling hours were held in Gloversville yesterday for Savannah Bercese, the first of many wakes and funerals that will now take place over the next several days. This 24-year-old was the youngest of the victims. Her boyfriend, Matthew Coons, was also killed in that crash. Her stepbrother took the opportunity to thank first responders and the community.
She was well loved by everyone. She was looking forward to moving on to the next chapter in her life, studying law, and unfortunately, her time was cut much too short.
Flags will fly at half-staff across the state until all of the people who died in the limo crash are buried.
Well, time now is 6:37. A $2,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest in an animal cruelty case.
Last week, Mavis was found walking on Ryder Ave on Syracuse's west side, extremely malnourished. Now, the dog is now recovering at an animal hospital, but if you have any information on who allowed the dog to become this emaciated, call the Cuse Pit Crew at 315-442-5336. We also posted this information for you at localsyr.com, including how you can help donate if you'd like to help cover the costs for Mavis's medical recovery.
Well, time now is 6:38, and Kate, fall-like weather, we are enjoying it. Some people.
I was going to say, so it's the person who was so excited about the 80s this week, and now she's like, hey, let's bring it. I know, that's the thing about fall and these temperatures. Everyone loved it, but yeah, you had some people that didn't. They're like, yes, bring on the cooler weather. So I think a lot of people are ready to kind of have that fall feel.
I don't think there are any fall haters. It's only the people who realize what comes next.
Yeah.
We love fall. After the break, a call to end the violence after a 12-year-old Syracuse boy becomes the latest homicide victim in the city, and nearly 4,000 people are without power right now in Syracuse and central New York. We'll recap the top stories in News on the Go.
And also coming up on Good Morning America this morning, more of that exclusive interview with First Lady Melania Trump, responding to questions about the president's alleged affairs and if she's been hurt by them. 7 o'clock on GMA.
Now, your news on the go.
6:54, neighbors on Syracuse's north side still reeling after a 12-year-old boy was shot and killed Wednesday night.
And James Swinger III was a 6th grader at Grant Middle School. His death, the latest in a string of violent crimes involving children and teens in the city. Now, as the community gathered to mourn James last night, police still calling for witnesses to come forward. If you know anything, give detectives a call at 315-442-5222.
In other news this morning, there's a blackout in certain neighborhoods of the city of Syracuse. At last count, about 4,000 people were powerless in the north side, parts of the west side, even stretching into parts of the village of Solvay. No word yet on what caused these power outages, but National Grid says everybody should have the juice back on by about 8 o'clock this morning.
And breaking from the Roman Catholic Church, Pope Francis has accepted the resignation of the embattled Archbishop of Washington, D.C. Questions have been swirling over Cardinal Donald Wuerl's involvement in 2 clergy sexual abuse scandals. A recent report accused him of covering up for other high-ranking priests.
New information on that deadly limo crash in Schoharie last Saturday. The 2001 Stretch Ford excursion had been cited last March for brake failure, and records show when the limo was re-inspected last month, the brakes hadn't been fixed. Investigators are also looking into why that vehicle had 2 different license plates during the separate inspections. The operator, Nauman Hussein, has pleaded not guilty to criminally negligent homicide. He's the operator of the limo company, Prestige.
Well, it's what's left of Hurricane Michael heads out to the Atlantic this morning. Neighbors across the southeast are just starting to get a glimpse at the devastation left in its wake. As of 5 o'clock this morning, more than 1.6 million people are without power across 6 states. At least 6 people have been killed from this storm.
Kate, we've got nice fall weather, don't we?
It depends on your definition of nice, I suppose. We're not going to be dealing with hurricane-type weather, but it is going to be a little dreary and also a little rainy. We are dealing with some lake-effect rain showers right now. Our temperature is 49 degrees. It is also very windy outside. We will have gusts over 20, 30 miles per hour, and we are going to be in and out of these light rain showers basically throughout the day. Our temperature's stuck in the lower 50s. It's not going to be a very warm day like it has been, just as long as you are having that extra layer on hand with the long sleeve and the fleece, and then you we'll be good to go. Out of the weekend days, tomorrow's the good indoor day and Sunday's the good outdoor day for all of your fall festivities. We'll have a few more showers returning Monday to Tuesday. We're keeping it in the 50s.
All right, thank you, Kate. We're all set for the weekend. Thank you for joining us here on News Channel 9. Local update on the news and weather happens in 23 minutes. GMA is next.